There are tremendous terminological, verbal problems when you go to speak about freedom, about democracy, about capitalism, about socialism, about inequality, about almost any subject due to public discourse. And that's fun. I mean, it means you have to explore a little. You need a little bit of time with people. But let me give you an example. In his first letter on the economy, it's called, all of them are called in Latin, Laborem Exercens, exercising labor. Pope John Paul II, who from Poland, who had no experience in a capitalist economy, and had been battling Marxist terminology, was still using it. And he says that in all cases, labor is to be preferred to capital, because in his mind, capital is always only things. It's either money or it's machinery. And labor is always persons, and persons have precedence. Well, a few years later, when he addresses the subject again, he does it every 10 years or so, he has discovered something, I think, from conversations with Hayek and from a man they call the Polish Hayek, a man named Zhelski. Spent a couple hours in conversation with him too. He begins to grasp the idea of human capital, that if you have a population with skills in their fingers and in their hands and in their brains, and they can take direction and they can think for themselves, that's the source of wealth that's very hard to destroy. And it's much better than just having machines. And it's much better than just having the money. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have those human qualities, you're not going to go anywhere. So he began to realize that human beings have in them a form of capital that's much more important than the other forms of capital. So you see how this began to switch his whole categories.